Hello there, my fandom friends! Today we're back again to talk about K-pop demon hunters, and actually a topic that you might have been involved with. So a couple weeks ago, I did a reaction video to watching the movie, as well as put out another video about a theory that I had about BabySasha, my favorite character from the movie. And I asked all of you to write in the comments what are some theories that you have about the movie that aren't exactly canon, but just some things that you were thinking about. And so today I am going to be taking 7 of those comments, crediting you for your ideas, and then kind of just reacting to what I think about your theory. Before getting into that, if you want me to do a part 2 for this idea of reacting to fan theories for K-pop demon hunters, feel free to leave your comments down below for different theories that you have so that I can add you in future videos. Or if you are in this video and want to submit another theory, I'm all game for talking about whatever theories you guys have. So I have here a notebook of where I wrote everything down, so I'm just gonna read it straight from here. I'll leave your comments on the screen. So let's get into this. This is from Mayo. I don't know if it's going to happen this time around or eventually, but at some point, classically, the heroes have to face darkness itself. So somewhere along the line, I would expect that Huntrix will go into the demon world. If they're going to play off the Orpheus myth, they might go there to find Rumi's father, assuming he wasn't killed but was sent back to the demon world. Or it could be mom or both. I actually really like this theory and I'm excited to talk about this one because I love the thought of the girls making their way to the demon realm in some kind of way, whether it is them being taken as captives or them going out of their own free will in order to solve some kind of issue, or how you state having the heroes face the darkness. That could be a really cool tie-up to maybe a second movie. I know that the directors of K-pop Demon Hunters have confirmed that there will be more content in the future, and so there's definitely a plausibility that this theory could come true. I also like the thought of the girls trying to search for Rumi's father, whether he is alive or not. Maybe they don't know. I feel like that part is definitely still uncertain and could be a very great topic to explore in a second movie, potentially maybe even as a prequel. Also like the idea of the story kind of playing off on the myth that you mentioned, because I know that the original movie that we got, there is a lot of heavy Korean culture in there. So playing off of a myth that people know about, I feel like isn't far-fetched to happen. Yes, thumbs up to this theory. I could totally see something like this happening in the future. Our next theory is from CPTN Bloxy. What if BabySasha didn't die and he comes back maybe in a future film, becoming the new demon king, and makes all of the demons have Sasha Boy / Huntrix level of singing and the demons are way stronger? Again, I really like this theory a lot, especially because it has something to do with BabySasha, which you know, again, he's my favorite character. I find him very intriguing. The theory video that I talked about a few weeks ago was actually this idea that BabySasha didn't die. We never saw that on screen. And the further I look into it, the only Sasha Boy that we saw actually die from someone was Abby, and then of course Guu giving his soul to Rumi. The other 3, Mystery, Romance, and BabySasha, I don't believe we actually see on screen. I'm pretty sure I saw a video on TikTok or somewhere, one of the creators talking about how if you slow down the scene of Zoe slashing Mystery, you can actually see Mystery turn into the kind of pinkish purple smoke, which is what happens when they teleport away. We didn't see what happened to BabySasha, and I guess we didn't get a clear look at what happened to Romance. So I do agree. I think it's very plausible that not only BabySasha, but probably Mystery and Romance as well could technically still be alive, and maybe they teleported themselves back to the demon realm once they saw Guu do what he did, and of course witnessing the girls taking over the honeymoon and everything, it was all looking bad for them. So yes, thumbs up to that. For sure, I could totally see the boys coming back back. I'm not so sure about Abby, but then again, they are demons, so there is the question of, do they actually die? Something with their soul, I'm not really sure. And to your second point of that theory about the demons coming back stronger, I can totally see this happening in the format of a second movie, of course. Kind of leading back to that first theory I talked about as well, where the heroes have to face something darker. That could totally be a lead up into a next storyline of some sort of the girls facing off the Sasha boys and other demons that have a Huntrix kind of level of power and ability through their singing. So yes, thumbs up to this theory, love it. Next theory is actually from BabySasha. That's crazy. They say Mira is a demon. Most of the demons have different colored hair, and all humans have black hair. Mira is a demon. This one, I won't lie, I am not so sure about, but I would like to talk about it and get my thoughts out and hear from you about this. Definitely going based on the fact that demons have different colored hair. Of course, we see that Ruby's hair is purple. However, I'm pretty sure if you look at her backstory, when Celine is braiding her hair, I'm pretty sure her hair is brown, so that leads me to think that her hair is just dyed. I also know that being an artist, a celebrity, that's very common for those people to dye their hair different colors because it's getting more attention and eyes on them because it's like bright and it's different. It's not just like brown or blonde or black, which is very typical. I think if there were other reasons for why you think Mira's a demon, I could maybe have something more to go based off on. But if it's just her hair being a different color, I'm not so sure I agree with this theory, especially after everything that she went with Rumi feeling so betrayed by her, feeling lied to. I feel like if she were a demon, maybe all of those thoughts inside would come out. That's just my thinking, but if you have something else to share in the comments, I would love to hear from you because this is a really interesting thought that I haven't seen anyone talk about. Next theory we have from Lisa_Annie Art. I kind of want to show more of Mira and Zoe past or childhood. One theory that I have is that Zoe was bullied in America. I don't want that, but it just makes sense to me. Yes, I could totally see this. From what we know about Zoe is that she came from America. We don't really have anything else about her other than the fact that she feels very two-faced. She feels like she's being pulled in two different directions where she wants to just be her bubbly self, but then there's also the part where people tell her that she's being too much and that she needs to calm down. That kind of split personality of her wanting to be herself but feeling pushed away from that, I think is a great target for bullying to happen. Obviously, like you say, I don't want that to happen either, but I think that that would be really interesting to have some kind of backstory on her, potentially about a bullying type situation. And then also, of course, Mira getting more backstory on her. All we really know is that she's this wild child, labeled as that by her family. It's in the music. We can tell kind of just based on her general vibe. But yeah, thumbs up to this theory because I would totally love more backstory on them. I'm also always here for more depth on side characters and not just the main character, which is Rumi. We get a lot on her, not a ton on Mira and Zoe. And they're, I feel like, equally important here. They are the trio of Huntrix. So yes, totally more information on them in the future would be amazing. Coming from Guu Pendi 0913, if I said that correctly, sorry. They say Gnu is the father of Rumi. Okay, no. I would need a little bit more context to why you think that, so I'm not gonna say no right off the bat. I'm gonna say no for my personal reasons because they made this movie of obviously them having a romantic relationship, and yes, Gnu is very old and we don't exactly know who his mom and sister were. To us right now, they're just strangers as well as Rumi's family. So I can see kind of where you're going, but I would need a little bit more context to that. I personally also don't think that Netflix would make a series where there's a clear romance between characters and then making them father and daughter. That doesn't seem like something they would do, especially for this being pitched as like a kids movie and adult movie kind of mixed. It's really for all audiences, and something as far as that topic goes, I just don't think that would happen. So with all respect, I am going to debunk that theory, but if you want to explain yourself more in the comments, I would love to hear from you, or if there's others out there that have a similar idea or anything. I did see a theory somewhere that the Demon King could be Rumi's father. That might be something I would be more willing to accept as far as the theory, but again, I would need more context. I do love how a lot of these theories are revolving around Rumi's dad though, because it's definitely a great mystery that could be a new storyline in another movie if they decide to go that route. The next theory is actually from one of my real life friends. So hi bestie. This is from Gabriel. This is a long one, so bear with me. They say Genu may be gone, but his cat and bird are still here. If Genu knew how much the hunters hated the demons, why would he send out his demon cat and bird to meet Rumi alone? I theorized that both of them are a lot more powerful than they were perceived in this film, and that they might even have the power to come back to life or bring someone back to life. Neither of them seem to appear any more of a threat than that of a low-level demon, but things aren't always as they seem. Sending his demon pets to the home of someone who kills demons just didn't totally add up unless Genu knows that they could protect themselves. I like that Rumi befriended them because I love animals too, but I believe those two are going to be key characters in the sequel, and their real power will be crucial in confronting the next big villain. First off, I really like this. I think if this movie were to be a standalone, by adding in those animals, it was more of just like a silly gesture. I've also heard that there's lots of cultural myths and stories that tie along to Korea with these two animals. So I feel like for this movie, they were more for like comedic relief and just like to be cute, because who doesn't love a big fluffy cat with big eyes and is super colorful with a little silly bird and a tiny hat? But I think that if there were to be a sequel, I could totally see these animals playing more of an impact in the kind of power scale. I believe they're also the only two kind of animal-ish demons that we see. And of course, with there being such a heavy connection to Genu, that also makes me wonder like what exactly that tie is between them. I like the idea that they might be so powerful to the point to bring the dead back to life. And I definitely agree that they don't seem to be a threat at all. They seem to be more of like a messenger for the demons. I also wonder if they could maybe be controlled by like the Demon King or like a higher level demon that isn't Genu, because obviously he seems very high and powerful in the demon ranking system. I also wonder about this because at the end of the movie, in one of the final scenes, Zoe is actually wearing a hoodie with that tiger on it. Also, fun fact, their canonical names are Derpy and Sussy. I almost wonder if by her wearing that sweater, that's some kind of foreshadowing for maybe something to come in the future. So I'm going to give a big thumbs up to this theory. I really like this a lot. And I think anyone would love to get more of those animals because again, they're just so special and colorful in our hearts. The last theory that I have here is by NRG2078. They say 400-year-old Genu gathered the baddest boys from AllMusic era that could be a prequel, and is Rainbow Honeymoon weaker or stronger than the Golden One? So I'm gonna start off with the theory and then I'll answer your other question because I feel like that's phrased more as a question and not a theory. So starting off with your prequel idea, I think that that would be really cool because we never really got to see where their group formed. I really like this idea for there being a prequel surrounding the Saja boys and kind of how their group was formed, because if you look at scenes like the doctor's office where you got to see the doctor, there's actually a picture on the wall and it's the 4 Sasha boys that I don't believe is including Genu. So that makes it kind of appear that maybe those 4 boys, Romance, Abby, Mystery, and Baby, were a boy band for K-pop, and then I guess were turned into demons, and Genu then kind of like recruited them because he was also good at singing and could be a lead for there being a group. The pictures on the wall could serve as foreshadowing as well for a different plot point, whether that's a prequel or a sequel, but I like what you're saying about this being more of a prequel line because it would be more of how that boy band was formed. Definitely a big thumbs up to this theory because I would love to see that. Anything involving more development development and depth as far as like minor-ish characters, I'm always down for. So yes, I love that. And then to your second point about the rainbow Hanmoon and the golden Hanmoon, so my personal viewpoint on that is that the rainbow one is more powerful than the golden one. This could vary depending on what people think about the colors, but in my mind, the golden one is very, very strong, but it almost symbolizes hiding your flaws and your weaknesses. Whereas at the end of the movie, when we see more of the golden Hanmoon, it's more of just the acceptance of who you are as a person. This whole time we saw like the golden Hanmoon, we saw like the red from obviously all of the demon interaction. By the end of the movie, when we really get the main message of the story, it's rainbow. And so I feel like, yes, the rainbow one is the stronger one. Again, that is just my opinion. I would love to hear your guys' opinions in the comments about the different colors of the Hanmoons. That is going to wrap up all of the theories that I had submitted a couple weeks ago up until this point when I reacted to them. Hope you enjoyed. This was actually really, really fun, and it made me want to continue this series. If you would like to add more theories down below in the comments, as well as for other series and fandoms that I'm into. So if there's any other series that you'd like me to do kind of a fan theory reaction to, and make a video formatted in this way, also let me know. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time for another fun fandom theme video in the future. Bye!